Bonzo and the Bone. Once upon a time, there was a dog called Bonzo. He was rather an unusual dog because he was a sort of orange colour and had big brown spots all over him. Also, one ear always stuck up and the other ear always flopped down, and he had one of the longest tails you ever seen, and one of his eyes was brown and the other eye was green, so altogether you'd have to go a long way to meet a more extraordinary dog than Bonzo. Bonzo was also an extremely greedy dog. He would eat almost anything. If anyone put down a bowl that had a bit of old porridge or cornflakes in it, Bonzo's tongue would have slurped it up before you could look round. If someone left a saucer of milk outside the back door for the cat, Bonzo would get to it first. And dustbins. There wasn't a dustbin in the town that Bonzo hadn't nosed the lid off and got inside and gulped down bits of bacon rind and eggshells and chunks of half-chewed gristle. Ugh! Bonzo was a bit like a vacuum cleaner in a dustbin. Within seconds, everything that was eatable had been sucked into his mouth and down into his tum. It wouldn't have mattered so much, except that he didn't bother to tidy up afterwards, so there was always a litter of paper and old cans and general refuse scattered all about, and as a result, Bonzo was not exactly a popular dog. Except with one small girl called Maisie. Maisie didn't have any friends. Not that she wasn't a likeable little girl, it was just that in her street the families either had children who were about 5 years older than she was, and they wanted to play older games, or they were babies who could hardly walk yet, and of course some families didn't have any children at all, either because they were grown up and had left home, or because there'd never been any children in the house at all. So Maisie was often very lonely, except for Bonzo. The man who was supposed to look after Bonzo wasn't very good at it. His name was Simon Grindling, and he was out all day at work, something to do with lampposts, and he never used to feed Bonzo properly, which was why the dog was always scavenging. So Bonzo and Maisie used to go for long walks in the park together, among the trees and flowers, and all along the banks of a stream that flowed through the park that had a little footbridge over it, which you had to be a bit careful crossing, as there wasn't a rail on one side. One day Bonzo was feeling very hungry indeed. He'd been into quite a few dustbins, but they'd had little in them that was eatable, even for Bonzo. A couple of mouldy old crusts and some cauliflower leaves and some cheese rind. And one irate old lady had actually crept up on him when his head was buried in her dustbin and thumped him with the end of her...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?